drops through the hourglass. These are the songs of our lives.
Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Songs of Our Lives. I'm Brad Rose. I'm an artist, a composer, a writer, the founder of Foxy Digitalis, and somebody who thinks about music and sound far more than is healthy. Each week, I invite on a guest to talk about the songs and the music that has meant a lot to them and been with them along their journey. Previous guests include Jalen, Claire Rousset, Rosalie, Miriam Gendron, Cadence Weapon, and so many more. This week, I am over the freaking moon to have Joe Rainey on the show. Joe Rainey he's just an all-around badass. The occasion of inviting him on the show is he's in a new project called Bizhiki, and their debut album, Unbound, is out on July 19th on Jaguar. It is, so far, it's my favorite album of 2024. It is unbelievable. It's got, I'm hoping I'm not going to mispronounce this, but I probably am. Bizhikiins, Dylan Jennings, Joe, and Sean Carey is the group. Dylan and Joe are basically like adopted brothers, and this project has been in the works for a while, and see it finally come to life and come out and hear, oh God, I haven't heard anything like this. Maybe like the only thing that is kind of in the same wheelhouse is Joe's solo album from a couple years ago, Nevad, which is another amazing album if you haven't heard it. But yeah, I love this record, and this was, oh my God, this was such a fun episode. Just, you know, Joe's background is a powwow singer, and he's been recording powwow since he was like 8 years old. This episode's awesome, and I learned a lot. You know, big takeaway is that Buddy Redbow should be talked about with the same sort of hallowed breath as any, like, I don't know, classic singer, songwriter, country star, folk music, whatever. And yeah, this was an absolute blast, y'all. Go check out the Bizhiki album, please. You won't be disappointed. We recorded this recently. It was a blast. I hope y'all enjoy it. My guest today is a singer and a songwriter, an archivist, a dad, a producer, so much more. It is Joe Rainey. Thank you. Welcome to the show.
What's up, Brad? What's up, man?
All right. We got to talk about the Bizhiki album, Unbound, out on July 19th. It's legitimately might be my favorite record of this year so far.
Wow. All right.
But tell me how you and Dylan met and how this project kind of came to be.
Yeah, Dylan and I have been friends for a number of years, and now we were started out as drum brothers, as we call them. The more we travel with someone, or the more we sing with someone, and the more we get to know them and their family, and also our each other's families, then we become a little bit closer. And I've seen him grow up from a young teenager to who he is now, a father, and also tribal councilman, preservationist and environmentalist. So that I've known Dylan through the ways of the drum for a long time, but seeing him growing up as an adult is pretty loving to see, as as an older brother figure. So I've known Dylan for a while, and we've sang together for quite a long time.
So I think I read, like, you guys have been kind of like, the origins of this actual album started quite a while ago, right?
Yes, it's been probably almost about 8 years, 7 years, 7 to 8
Dang.
years. Just over just the idea of it maybe hasn't,
Mm-hmm.
it's been more recent, but I think our relationship with the Bond Hiver family, the music family that is, the umbrella of what Eau Claire's was. There's a lot of people under there that we had the chance to talk with and create relationships, even on and off the stage. So I think Bizhiki was something that was I was there and I was maybe thought of, but the actual point of what we made our album didn't really come along until just before quarantine.
Oh wow. And so like I'm kind of curious about, well, I guess next question first, how does Sean get involved?
Yeah, so Sean has been there through Eau Claire's, just being with the Bond, being with Bond, just being a member, and our relationship with the whole crew, Mike Lewis and Sean Carey, Justin Vernon, those main people of Bond, really showed us a lot of respect and also a lot of love, and just the way that we were treated at the Eau Claire's Music Festival in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. We were drawn to how much of a family everything was done. Everything was done in a really respectful manner, and they allowed us to come in, perform powwow dancing and singing on the festival grounds. So Sean was there to see what we do on a regular basis, and the relationship in studio might not have happened until a couple of years after we performed there.
So with the Bizhiki stuff, like how I'm really curious, especially like having listened to the record a bunch, and just there's so many elements to it. Like, what is the, I guess, sort of process of like how you guys, how these pieces of music come into being? Like, is there typically like a starting point, like for the idea, or is it more organic than that? I don't know.
Yeah, the main focus of the song was to collaborate and to bring elements from both of our backgrounds to the track. So it would mostly start with Sean and whoever else that was there, playing a tempo, playing a backing to laying the bed, I guess you could say, for some of what we had to add, Dylan and myself. But sometimes it was Sean already had an idea of where what lyrics are going to be here, or so sometimes we kind of just shot ourselves in between everything that they already had done, but for the most part it was all created within our music sessions that we had, and it was them laying down the bed of the music bed, if you will, and we were just doing what we do on top of it, and then they built around that. So along Sean Carey and along with our producer Brian Joseph, they really, also Steve Garrington also had some everyone who was there, Ben Lester, Jeremy Everslecker, everyone had their hand in building the track, or especially the album.
What's been kind of the most surprising part of it for you, like with making the record? And now it's going to be out in a couple weeks. Has there been anything, I don't know, that kind of caught you off guard or anything like that?
Well, personally, I don't want to speak on behalf of my bandmates, but personally, I think getting picked up by Jag, that was surprising to me. I didn't, I've had an album out in the past, and then for them to pick up a native members, and a native native community members especially, really accepting this for what it is, and them being able to pick it up and really guide us along. It was a very nice surprise, and I'm super happy that we have their support and their help throughout the releasing of this project, because of what just by what you're saying and how how it's one of your favorite albums, and I'm happy that Jag was someone who we partnered with to really distribute that to everyone.
I also wanted to kind of this. I mean, it's related to the record, but just I think I read like you've been recording powwows since you were really young, right?
Yes, sir. I still do.
Right. And when I don't know if do you remember like when you were a kid and wanted to start recording, do you remember like what was sort of what made you want to record them, like document these?
Seeing everyone else do it. Everyone had their own device. Either it was the same old GE recorder, or people actually, I grew up in I was born in 87. So I remember people actually having, the smaller boom boxes with the mics on there.
Right.
So everyone had their own recorder. You had guys with lavalier, mics with, plugged into something, or, everyone had their own little setup, which was interesting to me. So I really wanted to, just record what I was hearing as well. Coming up, powwow singing is something that's very social. I guess there are some traditional aspects behind some of the meanings of some things in the powwow arena, but the powwow itself is very social, and they were always happening in the urban area of Minneapolis and St. Paul, Twin Cities, and I was always there. And finally, told my mom, I think we found my first recorder at a garage sale, and it went from there. I was always a frequent Radio Shack patron, just to see, just to buy tapes, batteries, whatever, but just to window shop on a better recorder. But I mean, I still record in tape wherever I'm at, just because of my own personal beliefs of how singing comes through on that form. We like to say it doesn't lie, so we can listen back. We can listen back to a tape and know if a drum group's really bringing it. But everyone sounds great on tape. Yeah, it sounds funny, but it's really just like a serious thing where there's a lot of singer knowledge that's not out there. So it's like we keep it for ourselves, but then to everyone else it might sound out of pocket. But I still like to record in tape. People like to see me record in tape. I do post a lot of what I record on my SoundCloud, and most of that is tape. And that from growing up in the city, having recordings instead of teachers, those were like my first kind of way to get a hold of what powwow singing is. And that was the start of my I guess my singing career was listening to enough tapes and trying out singing yourself by yourself. I really showed an interest, and so then I was enrolled into a few drum and dance classes, after school programs offered, and I had a few drum teachers in my day, but having that be a part of the urban native culture, that was important to not just myself, but to a lot of inner city kids to have that outlet of powwow dancing and singing.
Yeah. So are those some of your earliest memories with any kind of sound and music, is powwows and powwow singing and stuff?
For sure. And with a lot of the questionnaire that you sent beforehand, I wanted to give, some of the old songs that I know, or, some of I wanted to give 2-part answers, but that would have taken me forever because I really had a hard time with these questions myself. But to have, my own powwow singing songs that I like, those might appeal to maybe some of a few native listeners that might listen to this. But I could definitely go for hours about what's this and what's that about powwow songs. And I definitely had a few early songs that I remembered. It had to be the flag song. So like one of the flag songs that you're taught, as a young man, or as a kid. That's like one of the basic songs that usually what one of the first songs that you learn is the flag song. So there's many flag songs, but at least one type of flag song. So
yeah, when I sent over this list, I wondered too I got to imagine that you've, like you said, you probably got 2 answers for all of these. So if you want to change any answers,
Oh no, yeah, I will. But I grew up in the hood, as I like to say. South side, South side Minneapolis. Just I give a lot of props to my surroundings of my music taste. So, I'm sure Dylan has his own songs, and definitely Sean definitely has probably some really deep cuts, man. But just me growing up in Southside Minneapolis and a public school graduate, I like to think I'm a little cultured in music a little bit, yeah.
Do you feel like, I mean, like that combination of those sort of two elements, like, is that kind of been a big influence on like your own, like your solo record and stuff like that?
No, definitely. 1,000,000%. Just being able to collaborate, throughout my life with many different things, and always having to create or asked to be creative, in certain programs or certain classrooms, and I give a lot of thanks to my music teachers and a lot of people who took the time to embrace the singing that I do, even though it's not traditional. Do re mi, so it's
right.
I had a lot of that where I was in there, because they knew I sang, but it wasn't the traditional, what people call singing, right. I guess. So I had to learn a little bit of both, but they understood and respected the background that I came from. But yeah, living in the city, yeah, I had a little bit of both of a lot of things.
Nice. I know we're the focus, because of the timing of it, is on the Bizhiki album, but any new solo stuff in the works?
Yes. Broder and myself are, we've he's been overseas quite a bit and since the spring, and we're just letting him getting settled in. But I've let him know I'm ready, so I'm def. He texts back, let's get it. So yeah, there's definitely already some stuff being passed back and forth. Yeah.
Hell yes. Well, I will be on the lookout for that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, let's get into it. We'll go through the questions that everybody loves.
Yeah. Oh,
drive everybody mad.
Oh man, you're telling me, dude. Oh, yes, quite the time.
So as always, we begin with, what is the first song you remember?
Yes.
Other than maybe a powwow song.
Right. No, I can go with both, but I mean, this is like, I had to think and I had to do a little bit of research. And, I remember just being at Seward Montessori and Matthews in the Seward neighborhood, right by, my home park, Matthews Park. I was standing in line in kindergarten singing, Informer by Snow.
I forgot all about this.
Yeah. No, I remember standing in line, waiting to go, everyone's hype, and then one kid, everyone's trying to think of what he's saying, and it's I don't think everyone picked up what he was saying. Everyone's just making up their own thing,
right?
But I do remember being told when I was younger that I used to sing "Just a Friend" by Bizhikiins. So,
oh hell yeah!
So that was I had to family research, and
right.
I would sing the "Oh baby you." Yeah, I would. Yeah, that was I guess the first song that I would sing. So
man,
halfway,
that's
halfway Informer, halfway Just a Friend. We can flip it. If we can flip a coin, it would probably be the earliest. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I might put Just a Friend on the playlist because
cool. Yeah, man. No. That's what I was thinking. Man, this is not the song that I first remembered, but this is. Yeah, I just remember everyone standing in line waiting to leave kindergarten, singing "Licky Boom Boom Down." But I don't think they were. I don't think we caught that part yet.
Right.
Obviously, it was just Ricky Boom Boom or something about Ricky. Who's Ricky? Yeah,
who's Ricky? What are you doing, Ricky?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, that was man. So I had asked my sister, and she reminded me of the story. So I do remember them telling me that at one point, but she confirmed. Yeah, Bizhikiins. Rest in peace, Bizhikiins.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, what's a song that makes you cry? And do you think of yourself as a crier?
Oh yeah, man. I TikTok gets me a lot, man.
Man, me too.
Yeah, oh, dude.
I find myself sitting like on the couch crying at some of the dumbest shit.
Yeah, man. I'm just like, that dog just like found its owner. Like, dang, dude. Man. Like, oh man, or it's it's some of the stuff where crying, laughing too.
Yeah,
But I guess my wife would say I'm an emotional guy when it comes to I'm a huge big softie when it comes to tugging on the heartstrings. So I might come up from where I am now, and
right.
and like sometimes I just send her the TikTok, but I'm just with my phone, like just watch, like So yeah, I guess you could say I am. But the first song that would make me cry is "Help Me Make It Through the Night" by Willie Nelson. That just it's personally that's the song for me that does it. Just around the time my grandma died. My mom's mom passed away, and she was a music lover herself. And I was going through it there, but for some reason that would just remind me of my grandma, even though maybe she didn't listen to Willie Nelson. But that just was something that I can definitely listen to now, and it would bring me back to pretty rough patch in my life, tough time in my life.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say that song definitely, and yeah.
That song is that song and just I don't know Willie's voice.
Yeah,
it just
no.
Were you real close with your grandma?
When I was younger, we would always visit whenever we could up north, Red Lake, Minnesota. That's a 4-hour drive north, and I just remember being around her, and there's always music playing, or she's saying lyrics from a tune. She would.
Yeah.
She would say on the CCR song Bad Moon Rising, it's actually there's a bathroom on the right. So there's a lot of idioms that came from my grandma.
Yeah.
But there's a bathroom on the right. So that's man. That's I love my grandma, but she's her Indian name is the Sound from the South. And so she had music in her name, or vibrations, frequencies in her name, and
it's beautiful.
That's one of the songs that always gets me. So
yeah. I was a grandma's boy. Like the house that we live in, we bought it from my grandma when she moved in with my parents, and like it'll always you can still like feel like and. Her and my grandpa lived here. He passed away 98 or something. But whenever they bought this house, he stripped it down to the studs and like rebuilt everything because he was a carpenter. And so it's like I feel like this is like this family heirloom that I get to live in. It can be really emotional some days too, but
for sure,
in a good
man.
way.
For sure.
It's like those are the things that matter.
For real, man. Yeah.
A lot more than TikTok videos.
More than TikTok videos, but dang, man, those content creators, they know what they're doing.
I know. They are, yeah. They know how to, they're getting paid.
Yeah.
So they're pulling us in. Good for them.
Yeah, to get our tears and our cents,
Yeah.
Take our pennies and our tears. Yeah, it's all good, man.
It's the American dream.
Yeah. Penny for tears.
Penny for tears.
Yeah.
Okay, on the flip side, what's the song that'll put you in a better mood?
Oh, I'm So Into You by SWV. That reminds me of childhood vibes. Just my sisters, my cousins, them being huge R&B heads. I had to I have I was going to look for it. I think it's it surrounds me as I hold up a Jodeci Forever My Lady single that I bought on tape not too long ago. So
hell yes.
Yeah, R&B vibes, anything R&B, 90s R&B, that would definitely immediately put me in a better mood. But SWV, I'm So Into You, that just reminds me of all my sister's friends and my cousins and her sisters and their friends. It just reminds me of the hood, I guess. But it just, it gives me in a good 90s R&B puts me in a good mood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is such a jam too.
It's a banger. Yeah.
Yeah, like it just makes you want to get up off your ass and get moving.
For real. Yeah. No, that's one I put on. Yeah.
Are your sisters older?
Yes, my sister is, she's 13 years older than me. And then my younger sister, she's younger. But then my cousin, who's my age, has, older sisters who are, I consider them my sisters too. So, yeah, there's been a lot of babysitters that put me on some music. So
I bet.
For real.
Those are, that's an interesting thing. Like now thinking about it, those are, I think, a lot of kids' like first exposure to things that like not from their parents is babysitters.
Bone Thugs. I got exposed to Bone Thugs as being babysat after school playing Mortal Kombat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's like the formative music of our lives comes from babysitters. That's okay. You got me thinking.
Yeah, man.
I think also this SWV song could take a run at like the sexiest song, but that's a whole.
No, true that, man.
Yeah. Okay. Everybody's favorite question. What is objectively the best song of all time?
Yes. And I put Journey to the Spirit World by Buddy Redbow.
I love this. I love this pick. Tell me. So I only learned about Buddy Redbow, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. I'm late to this. But I'd love to hear about your experience with him, and just like a lot of people listening might not know him.
Yeah,
so
Buddy Redbow was an indigenous artist from South Dakota, and just an underground legend, independent artist through the Native community, and also just some folk community as well. My first exposure to Buddy was through my mom and that album, Journey to the Spirit World, front to back, side. We had the tape, so it was side A, side B. It was just an album that I heard growing up, but then also listening to the lyrics or repeating the lyrics of some of his songs, they start to make sense, and they can really understand the story that he is telling of the people that are in South Dakota, the Lakota, the people of the 7 console fires. Those are the stories that are being told through his music, and those things that he's saying still apply today, especially the traditional ways and the certainly the contemporary positions of their tribal councils and things that happen on the reservations with drug epidemics, and there's lots of things that happen that may not have made Buddy's album, but I think the overall piece of art that he created highlights the struggle of even indigenous Americans of today. So it's a Journey to the Spirit World, along with his other albums, are cult classics. And Journey to the Spirit World is the self-titled song on the album. And in the beginning, you hear a sample of a song being sung, and that's a real song. That's an actual song that has that creates vibrations among the frequencies that help and call out to the creator, the spiritual helpers that are there. That's a real, very much a real song. So that's something that he did that was really cutting edge. I'm not aware of any blowback that he received, but I mean, just the way that he portrayed in his art and the story of the South Dakota Lakota, it really drew me to listening to what people had to say in the lyrics, and having a political stance, and to really kind of form your knowledge of what you're listening to. But Journey to the Spirit World, it starts off with that song, and I try to walk that line with what I can and what I can't sing. And Buddy just was like, man, I'm going to put this song on out front, and he did that on a few of his songs. The other albums he sampled powwow music. He just had it, and then he'd come in with his song after. And shout out to him for being one of the first collaborators and people who sampled native singing. And creating Bizhiki and my own personal creation with Andrew Broder, we definitely pulled samples from my collection and archives, and that's something that I wanted to do, but also that's something that I've I've always wanted to do, learning from Buddy and his album. So this song itself is a pretty heavy song. Journey to the Spirit World is telling you, don't be afraid. Your day's coming. You know, you're gonna. This is what they're gonna do. This is people are gonna be praying for you. They're gonna be taking care of you. But your journey to the spirit world is a long one, my friend. And it goes by very quick in the spirit world. But for us, it takes 4 years for someone to truly, for the spirit to be home, as we say. So it's 4 of our years, but in spirit world time, it'll go by quicker. But that's a deeper convo for a different time. But Journey to the Spirit World is one of my favorite songs of all time, and it really capsulizes my love for native music and not just powwow music or ceremony music that has its home, but contemporary indigenous music was a early love of mine, and that album and that song was the foundation of it.
That's awesome. I like I said, it was only a few years ago that I learned about him, and it just seems like this incredible figure. But just I'm like, I'm one of my, talking about like indigenous music and contemporary, and like one of my closest collaborators for the last 20 years is this guy named Nathan Young, who he's Delaware and Pawnee and Kiowa, and he does a lot of stuff with American Indian church music and like peyote music.
Yes, sir. Some of the best harmonizing singers around. Beautiful music. I have a lot of relatives and that are involved in NAC. Yes. And
and I just like hearing and like thinking about like with your solo record and the Bizhiki stuff, like hearing these, they feel like these bridges between two different kind of worlds like thing, and it's really powerful. And obviously like me from the outside, like it just, I don't know, I just find it incredibly moving, and I think there's a lot of I'm just excited to see, like, I think there's a lot of really incredible indigenous contemporary music and art being made right now that I'm glad that people are finally paying attention.
Yes, hopefully. Sir. Me too.
And living in Oklahoma, like feels like I feel really lucky because there's a lot of incredible stuff going on around here. Like I'm in Tulsa, but like around
okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I could go on about that for
yeah.
Again, that's another conversation.
Right. Yeah.
But I think a lot of it owes a nod to Buddy Rembo. So
for sure. Look, yeah, it's a great storyteller.
Yeah. Oh, incredible. Yeah, I was reading some interviews with him, watching some interviews. Like even he's just even on a 40-year-old video on YouTube, his charisma and his oozes out of the screen.
Yes,
he's
sir.
just incredible.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, everybody go check
a man
out
of the people. That's what I've always heard. So.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Okay. Moving on, because I could talk about this. We could keep talking about this forever and derail this whole thing.
Yeah.
What's a song you used to love, but you recently heard it and it doesn't do it for you as much anymore?
I think I got I think it's LFO, Abercrombie and Fitch.
Oh.
That was like the only thing I could think of. I'm taking a look back at the boy band stuff, and I have to go with that one. I think it's LFO. I'm not sure what it is, but I look back at the boy band stuff. You don't have to put that on a playlist, but I could not really think of anything because I love every song. But it's like I would have to say some of the boy band stuff I used to sarcastically sing. So I used to sarcastically sing it. Like, wait, do I halfway like this song? And then now I'm looking back no. I mean, some of that stuff, if you cover it differently, it'd probably be a banger. But then just the way of the Frosted Tips, White Boys, all that, that would definitely, that's cringeworthy to me now as a 37-year-old man. But I'm those dudes, those are some Todds with 2 Ds. We don't want to associate with those dudes at all. We would not associate with the Todds. singing Abercrombie and Fitch at the bar. No, definitely not. No. So that would have to be something that I would have to take a stance on. But then, like, there's a lot of songs where I'm just like, I would never put away a song like that unless it has to be, something really weird or something,
Right.
Yeah, I don't go back to boy band songs in my playlist. So I guess I had to go there. Sorry, guys.
I think that's the way to go.
Yeah. That was the only thing I could think of. Racked my brain. Yeah.
I can't remember if you had an answer for this next one. Okay. A song that people hate, but you don't care. You love it anyway.
Oh man, yeah. I didn't want to. I mean, oh man. I don't want to. Mr. Robert Kelly, may he rot in jail for what he's did too. But you remind me of something. It's still like, man, I just wish someone else sang that song.
I know,
and it's like, and that's the only thing I could take from it. I probably won't go back and play it all the way through.
Right.
But it's like, I wish someone else sang that song. That was just,
yeah.
But it was like, I think everyone's on board with that song, especially that song. But like, who sang it, I think, is the biggest problem. And I can't look past that either. So maybe that's one song I can put away too. Yeah, but that could have been on the last question.
Right. Yeah. That was. Yeah. That came up on a previous episode. I think someone said Ignition remix, but it was like, it's one of the greatest pop songs ever, but you just can't do it.
Yeah, you can't do it.
Yeah, you just can't do it.
You can't do it. No, and like I said, 90s R&B, like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? When you're going through all those things, on a road trip, you got the tunes going, and it's like you're in the genre, and it's like, no, you can't do it. You just can't do it. Won't do it.
Yeah. I was talking to somebody recently who their day job is she's a wedding singer, or it was. I don't know if she still is, but she was saying, she was like, yeah, we would get like Ignition remix requested every time. She's like, you just have to disassociate.
Right.
Like,
who? What? No.
Yeah, I don't know. What had just happened? Where was I for the last 5 minutes?
Yeah, must have been a glitch. I don't remember that person ever making any music ever. Right.
No, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
All right, well, on to better things.
Yeah, for real.
What is what are you? Do you consider yourself a romantic?
Yes, I was born on Valentine's Day, sir.
What
doesn't automatically put me in the romantic side, because I've had my problems. Believe me, but I mean, I guess that was just a cheap way of saying maybe I think I am.
Well, what's the most romantic song?
I would have to say, Song for You by Donny Hathaway.
Yeah.
That was my wife and I's wedding song, but also just on top of that, Bon Iver's cover of that song was the actual song that we used. But I mean, the song itself is a beautiful song. And, I've been so many places in my life and times, it's we're alone now, and I'm singing the song to you. And it's like, he's saying when everything's
pure romance.
When everything's said and done, just remember when I was singing to you, So it's like, I'm a singer, a lifelong singer. I've been singing all, since I was a little fella. And, but the life of a singer is not always easy, as I've been taught. And we do, life of a native singer. You do things when you're asked to, and you never ask why or how, or, you just want to know when. You got to be there, and you show up and you sing. And that's what I was taught. So I stay true to that as long as I live. And, that really kind of gives a singer's perspective in that song about creating a song for somebody. So that's one of the most romantic things you could do in a native culture is create a song for your significant other. So I better get on it.
Yeah, you better.
Yeah, seriously.
I don't think I didn't realize that there's a Bon Iver cover of this.
Oh, yes. They did something with Two Dance. It was a collaborative thing with a dance company, and they had a few shows at the Palace Theater in St. Paul. And then actually the Bizhiki song, Come Through, was actually reworked from that song, or from that collaboration. So there's a full circle moment right there. But in that particular show, my wife and I went and seen it, and they performed a song for you. And Mike Lewis, who was also a South High Tiger, where I graduated from, he had the saxophone solo, and I just remembered wanting to go back to the saxophone solo of the set, because my thing is I always be recording, so I went back in my voice note, and I found the saxophone solo, but then the song itself was like, damn, this is a great song. Then I found out there was a cover, and then, that stayed in the back of my mind when it was time to pick a wedding song, and that was it. Yeah. But it was actually the voice recording I took, and I mixed it up a little bit to amplify it a little bit more. But, I think one of the videos on YouTube is actually Bon Iver at the Duluth Riverfront for a Waters Life festival. They went there and they performed, and they did, that was a part of their set. And he dedicated it to my wife and I, which was great.
Oh, that's incredible.
Oh man, but she wasn't there though. So that's
damn.
It was
send her the YouTube video, right? Like, hey.
I just sent her the recording. Right. But it was, my oldest son was with me, so he got to say how sweet it was to her. So,
there you go.
But they knew that was our song, and they figured out I played an amplified voice note for our wedding song. But they sent me the cover of it from the Hollywood Bowl, which I play a lot. So it's great. It's a great song.
That's really great.
It's a great song.
I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah.
And I just love to hear you say always be recording.
Always be recording.
Think everybody I know is so sick of me saying that. But
I think that's from a Batman Lego movie where he said that, where it's like always be recording or whatever.
Oh yeah, I think you're right.
That's where I got it. That's where I got it from, man. Shout out to Legos and my son, the master builder.
Oh man, yeah. But I'm anytime I'm anywhere,
Yep. That's me. That is me.
Yeah. And everyone's like, "What are you going to do with it?" It's like you never know. You never know when something.
You never know.
There's going to be
like myself
a moment,
right?
Yeah. So, all right,
yes. I'm with you.
All right. What's a song that changed your perspective on an artist?
When I'm Gone by Nevad Brave, also a South Dakota musician, artist. He's a rapper. That was a bit more recently, but I've heard his stuff, since he's been releasing, certain songs, and this song itself, since after this he's before and after this he's put out some bangers, but this one was a lot more heartfelt. This is his, Shook Ones by Mobb Deep. This is his one. This is his like classic.
Yes.
Like this is his, moment to be like, yes, I'm here. I can tell a story. He's speaking about himself and his shortcomings, and he's actually, the hook itself it sounds like he's powwow singing just a little bit, and he's letting himself be creative, and I heard that. And once I heard, the whole song itself, especially some of the lyrics that, a lot of people connect with, fighting with yourself, and, I'm at war with myself. I'm trying to figure me out. I've been through so much shit. The self guilt is tearing me down, so that's, I don't remember too many lyrics, but, it's for what he put out and what he put down. That's something that stuck with me. So that's, he's a young guy, young South Dakota Lakota artist and rapper, who's also, ascending through his own career. But that's something that changed. And that's when I kind of realized, like, I knew this kid had it, but right there was when he, put his soul on paper, even if he didn't write it down, but, you can tell his heart was on that track. And that was one track. I'm just like, okay, yes, he's arrived in my mind.
Yeah. I wasn't familiar with his work, and this made me want to hear more. But this song was, it's like you said, it's like his heart on his sleeve, and it's like, I really love how the production of it, along with the lyrics, because the production has got like these really in your face beats, and then the music is kind of delicate.
Yeah.
And I think it like, and then what he's saying, it really kind of bridges that gap because it's, I don't know, it's a hell of a thing.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I've highlighted his music throughout my travels and my talks with people. And also, when the chance I have to share music, he's always on there with that song. But he definitely has a whole nother catalog of just music that he's making through his experiences. And, he really changed my perception, I think, of what native rappers are. Although I did not hold nothing against them, but the way that he said it and how, it's not about what you say, it's how you say it. And right. I think he really brought that home on that song, and he really, I truly think he found himself, a lot more comfortable writing at that point to where, that really let go of, what, I guess what people think native rappers are. So I think the way that he wrote that hook and the way that he sang it, set him apart from some others.
Yeah. Well, the lyrics for that song, as we were just talking about, is great. But what are your favorite lyrics? Whether it's a whole song, single line.
Yeah, I had to go back to Buddy Redbow and the song "Black." Where's Ben Black Elk today? What's that I see circling over the Black Hills? Oh, smokes! That'll either sober you up or get you started. It's one of those things. It's one of those things. 50-50 chance. I'm just kidding. But it's the song itself, is a story about, a little bit on the political side, and during the bridge or the beginning of, I think is the one part of the song where he just says, if they wanted to be so fair on Mount Rushmore, why isn't an Indian up there?
Man, what a line.
That's a great line. Great line. And you could use that in every, if they wanted to be so fair, that's, and you think about, a lot of people going there, a lot of the traffic is, native people going there and giving it the finger, so right. That's like, I see that post on social media probably throughout my whole, year until it's winter.
Right.
So it's, people, travel to powwows and travel through, the Black Hills on their travels, and that's a place to stop and take a picture, giving the finger to the Mount Rushmore, which is 4 faces carved on granite stone. That's part of that song too. But it's that's just one of those songs too on that same album, Journey to the Spirit World, where it's just some classic poetry from a native's perspective in the heart of America, so it's that's one of my favorite lines for sure.
I think one of the things about Buddy is that lyrically it's so good, musically it's so good, and the ideas of how you're talking about how some of the earliest sampling of anything really, but the way he was sampling powwow and different stuff, it just blows my mind when I sit down and listen to it and think about it, that this was made 40 plus years ago. And
yes.
He was just, and he was this singular, nobody else anywhere close to doing something like that,
Right.
It's remarkable. I don't know. And it blows my mind. I guess it doesn't blow my mind that more people don't know of him or talk about him, because look where we are, but fuck. It's, yeah, man. That's why I give the finger to the fucking Mount Rushmore.
right. Yeah, man.
Same spirit there.
Yeah, for real.
What song have you or can you listen to the most?
I'd have to say "Hey Love" by Stevie Wonder.
Oh hell yeah, man! Stevie's one of the greatest ever.
I had to think about that one because I didn't reply, but that was my answer. "Hey Love" by Stevie Wonder. That's something I could do.
Great song.
Also, anything. Yeah. Just "At Your Best" by Aaliyah. Her version of that song. That's also something I could listen to all the time. And "Sweet Thing" by Mary J. Blige. Her cover of that song as well.
Oof. These are just banger.
Yeah, no. So I had to do 3 because I couldn't do 1.
Yeah, I no complaints for me. All of those.
But I mean, R&B vibes again. It's just like feel good stuff, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's that stuff, that like period of our lives is just always going to be that music that's.
Yeah, I didn't know classic rock until I started working in the trades, so I can't go that. Even though I know some deep, some bangers. But I used to tease my best friend Scott about knowing all the classic rock tunes because his parents love classic rock and they like, you know. But he knew, you know, all these songs. But then, you know, here I am working in the trades, HVAC, and you know, we all have to have that one station everyone agrees on. So I mean, yeah, I know a lot of songs now, but I had to think of the wheelhouse, you know, growing up in my,
exactly.
You know, I'm not going to act like I know all these, you know, classic rock tunes or nothing, but yeah.
What's the best hype song?
Oh, dude, there's a lot, man. You know, there's you know, playing basketball, you know, do
you have a song that like gets you up before you, like, if you're gonna play?
Oh man, it has to be Lil Jon and the East Side Boys. Throw it up.
Hell yes.
Throw it up. Throw it up. Throw it up. And then Webby, I got that. I was just listening to after I dropped my daughter off to volleyball. Maybe I don't know. I didn't play it for her, but I felt hype for her. Played the Webby CD version I had in my car, and that was in the CD player. So
those are good calls.
I got that by Webby. Also, then Young Jeezy Thug Motivation 101 was like something I learned when I played the 1 year of college ball, and a lot of guys were from Milwaukee, but they were just all had sound systems in their cars, or whoever brought cars to school, and they put me on a Thug Motivation 101 by Young Jeezy. So anything off of there was like in our locker room, like, and, you know, we were getting hyped off of that. But it was like the Jay-Z and Nas going back and forth thing, man. Coming out to Ether was something pretty. Man. I always remembered like watching Varsity come out to Ether. That was just like, oh man, just like that era of songs. You could just pick any, like Never, Quick to Back Down by Nas and the Bravehearts. That was a banger. Just like lots of hype songs in that era. Like.
You're just rattling off a playlist I need to make for when I need to get.
Yeah, like... man. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Then you throw in like, you know, wrestling, like certain, like a lot of the people like, oh, I'm super into wrestling. Maybe that's something that people don't know about me. I'm a huge wrestling fan. And yeah, just, you know, C Murder made a song for the Wolfpack, which is like, crazy, but it's like, man, that was like,
all right,
Timberwolves. That was my playoff Timberwolves theme to get me hyped for the game. I was just like, yeah, you better watch out for the Wolfpack. You know, we're going to play good against a chance with the lane egg. You know, but that's how it goes. But yeah, no, going to school in the early 2000s, you always had those, you know, Lil Jon songs where it just was like, you know, Throw It Up,
right?
You know, all that whole album, the Crunk Juice album. I think it was just like banger after banger. But that was
awesome.
Yeah.
How awesome would it be to write like a song for a wrestling like the song they come out to?
Okay,
man.
So cool. No, the song on my album called No Chance. There was a wrestler that I've become friends with, and he's Canadian. He made it to WWE, early, mid 2000s, and his name is Wavell Star, and he seen the video of my song No Chance, and it had some independent wrestlers in there, but they're actually not independent wrestlers. They were like pro wrestlers, like in the actual WWF and stuff. But they were there. They were in the South Side Minneapolis at a local cable television event, and I was in the crowd. So that song has a little bit of wrestling to it, but he used it as his entrance. And I'm not sure how many times if he still uses it, but yes, No Chance definitely was used a few times already, but in the independent wrestling scene in Canada. So Stampede
awesome.
Wrestling, yeah, Stampede's still around.
Wow, that's freaking cool as hell.
Yeah, for real. It is, man. It is. I'm still waiting for a video for proof, but he told me that even though he's the heel, everyone loved that song. So,
oh man, that's killer.
Yeah,
that's what. Hey, like that's something you can 50 years from now tell your grandkids. Hey.
Oh yeah, I'm a huge wrestling fan.
Okay, we got two questions left.
Yeah.
Two sort of big ones. What's the song that means the most to you?
Okay, I gotta refer back to my notes because I know I had again, it's going back to my my grandma and my mom, and it had to be "How Great Thou Art." Just anyone's version of that song reminds me of early mornings, not knowing what's going on in church or Sunday school, but you're there for the love of your grandma and your mom, and the ways that they pray, and then the ways that they communicate and settle themselves and bring themselves to calmness is through the Lord. So that's what they prayed with, and I wasn't shown certain ceremonies until I was older. Even now, just recently, certain indigenous practices, certain our own cultural practices haven't been in my life until later on in my life. But early on, I was going to church with my mom or my grandma, and not really latching on to anything. Like I couldn't tell you anything about the Bible or what, but the music I connected with, and the language, the Ojibwe language was used in the church setting, and they wrote a book of hymns also with a lot more other tribes who have their own hymns and their own hymns that they use in the language, whether it's covering songs like "How Great Thou Art," or making up their own hymns. My grandma Ruth was an Ojibwe hymn singer, and going to different wakes and hearing her sing brings back a lot of memories. And my mom being a churchgoer herself, there are a few gospel songs I still listen to to help me ground and help me remember my mom and her teachings, and remember my grandma. So "How Great Thou Art," that's something that was also the Bible itself could just be spoken about, like how I was speaking about the flag. A lot of things were said underneath that cross about Native people. A lot of things were done underneath the name of that book, or behind that book. There's a lot of trauma with Native people, especially boarding schools, and when you get into that topic. And so it's I'm not glorifying any religion whatsoever, but the music is something I think that we all kind of share a love of, because a family member was a Bible bearing person, and they were of the Lord. So we have that respect of our family members, but that's one song that means absolutely something to me every time I hear it. So yeah,
it's beautiful, man. Wow. All right, last question. What is your favorite song? At least in this moment in time. Maybe it changes. I don't know.
This one I could say without a doubt is "Nothing I Can Do" by the band Indigenous. And this song is just overall, from the lyrics to the riffs on the guitar, just knowing who this band is also, they're obviously Indigenous band. They're from Yankton Sioux tribe in Lake Andy, South Dakota, Marty, South Dakota. Although that area is the Ihaktawan people. So that's where they're from. And at first there was a family band. They were all family and friends. And Maton Haji was their lead singer and lead guitarist. And that was like one of the first bands I ever seen in person.
Wow.
So watching a master guitarist in person was very mesmerizing. Also, not knowing that he sounded exactly like Stevie Ray Vaughan. And I didn't know that at the time. I thought Maton Haji sounded like Maton Haji. I didn't think he sounded like, Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Right.
But, that was just my first exposure to like live blues music. And, then, blues became a favorite genre of mine. And so I would, follow wherever they would go in Minneapolis. My mom would take me. But that was off their first album, Things We Do. And Nothing I Can Do is like one of their, fourth or fifth, I think it's the fourth or fifth track on that album. But man, just, the way it opens up with that guitar, that open guitar just playing, and, drums come in and, you go into his lyrics, very, very silky sounding lyrics, just walking down this road of loneliness. That's the lyrics itself, might bring you down, but they also, just hoping that you'd come and take my hand, that's also, show me what's mine and help me understand, that's just, different lyrics that are in the song, but it's also there, it's kind of uplifting as well. You might be going through it, but there's always that person or someone there to help you, even if they're not a physical being person, but they are, spiritually there. Remember your loved ones. You remember, people who came before you and the teachings that they left you. And just that song really brings out all those emotions, but it's also, just helps you, keep yourself together and just, it's a native band as well. So I could have really picked any of my favorite songs, Smile by Scarface, Can This Be, This Can't Be Life by Jay-Z, some really, soul searching kind of songs. And, just Nothing I Can Do is something that has to be my favorite song of all time.
Love it. That's awesome. Well, this was a lot of fun.
Heck yeah.
I appreciate it very much.
Yes, sir.
Bizhiki Unbound out on July 19th.
Unbound, man. That from front to back, it's a ride. But
it is like legitimately. This is one of my favorite things about doing all this stuff is I get an email from a publicist with this album.
Yeah, shout out to Patrick.
Yeah. And I see this. I'm like, I don't know. Bizhiki doesn't mean anything to me. I read that you were involved, and I loved your solo record. I was like, oh, cool. Let me check it out.
Word.
Listen to it. Just kind of stopped me. I just stopped what I was doing just to listen to it because it is that everyone needs to hear it.
Some of that stuff was one take. So I mean, we really caught some a little bit of lightning. You know what I mean?
Sometimes. Yeah, I mean, sometimes the stars align. Man.
For real, sir, no doubt.
Are you guys gonna do any shows or anything?
Yeah, we have some stuff planned for this fall that we're getting ready to announce. After our release date.
Sweet.
But it's local. But we kind of missed the boat on the end of this year's stuff, or the middle of this year. But we'll definitely be ramping up early next year, and hopefully, with the full release, I'm pretty sure there'll be a lot more offers coming in. So yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Everybody bring Bizhiki to your town.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. All right, Joe. This was great, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir, man. Go Wolves. And hopefully I don't have to watch my teams in too much despair for much longer away from home. So yes.
Once again, a million thanks to Joe Rainey. Go check out the Bizhiki album Unbound. Again, it's out on Jaguar, July 19th. You can hear it anywhere and everywhere. A lot of amazing stuff. A lot of great guests. My kid was really excited when I told her Justin Vernon was on here because she likes Bon Iver. And there's So one of the albums of 2024. Full stop. No qualifications. As ever, listen to Joe's picks. Link to the playlist is in the show notes, and there's some freaking good ones on there. And if you don't know Buddy Redbow, now's the time. As always, thanks for listening. If you enjoy this show, it would mean a lot if you could leave a rating and or a review. Those things help, gets it into more people's ears. If you love it a little bit extra, you can always join the Patreon, patreon.com/FoxyDigitalis for as little as $3 a month. You get the full conversation unedited, and you get them a week early and some other stuff, and that continued support really helps out. If that's not for you, take that $3, $5, whatever, put it towards picking up a copy of Unbound, because that is the capital T truth. All right. Until next time, I hope you all just keep listening, whatever the hell you want.